Khamenei is not as unpopular a guy as one would think. Okay, there are a lot of people who do truly stand with Khamenei. They didn't just stand with him, or Khomeini rather, back in '79. They still stand with them till this day. And then there's the basic thing that, okay, even if you don't like Khamenei, right? First of all, what exactly do you want? A lot of the people that don't like the current government, they don't necessarily want the current government gone altogether. They want reform. Okay, a lot of these people that protest are reformists. They're not revolutionaries. Two, where's the evidence of there being revolutionaries in general? And then three, even if there was, when foreign countries start bombing you, even when people hate the current government, most people will say, I will still fight for my country against the foreigner, right? So
I'm not sure about that, just because I think there are lots of people, especially after what the government is doing to women in Iran right now.
That's not even the true.
No, I'm not sure I agree with that, because Iran. So there's so many people were angry when Iran's government killed Mahsa Amini, just because she didn't cover her hair right. And that really started a movement against, because, some people don't like for women to be treated like that. Some people do, and, but some people, a lot of people went out on the streets and says, we don't want our women treated like that. And, now there is a lot of people who do support that, who do favor treating women like that. And so you're right, there are a lot of people who support the government, but there's a lot of people who are against that government because of, I think a lot of them, and so many mosques have been closed in Iran. 50,000 mosques were closed by the Shiite government because nobody goes to them anymore. And so I think a lot of people are leaving Islam because of they hate the government. But you can't really, it's not a government where you have freedom like in America or in Europe to speak against the government, because you can the
years of secularism as a concept. Iran is a lot more fundamental. Like, Khomeini is not the same as Erdogan. Erdogan needs to play a lot differently because his society isn't one that's trying to team up with anybody they can go against this.
But you're not getting what I'm saying. You say even the people who are against the government.
No, I know what you're saying, but there's a lot of people who are begging America to come and set them free. Yeah. I think enough of them do that they support what America's doing. They want to be set free. They want to be set free from this government. They hate the government. Do you have a percentage? Do you have a percentage? Yeah. Do you? What is the percentage? What is the percentage, General? Hey, Nabil, can you let me ask him a question? Hey, Nabil, can you let me? What is the percentage? Hey, General, what is the percentage, General, that you have that support the government? Okay.
Probably it was less than that. Regardless, the country went up in flames. When things like the Hama massacre happened, most, maybe 30% of Syrians, if even, hated Assad. Probably it was way less than that. And just from getting to that critical mass, we were able to see uprisings that resorted in Hafiz al-Assad having to kill about, 8,000 people? maybe more, something like that. 60%.
Yeah, the Hama massacre was the one good thing Haq has ever.
No, I'm not judging Hama massacre. I'm just talking facts, right? 60%, if even, it was probably less than 60%, saw the country plunged into civil war. As a comparison, Iran is a country of 90 million people. Okay, so this is like 3 times the size of Syria. Well, if, as you said, 60% at a minimum of the country was against Khamenei, but you say it's probably higher, right? Then not only should I see deaths, right, about, in fact, not about, at the same level or higher.
What do they do to people that do that, who oppose them?
My friend, can you name me the largest massacre that ever occurred in the internally in Iran under Khomeini's government? Me, I can tell you.
No,
right
I know,
now.
but what happens to the people who do oppose the government there in Iran?
Yeah, I'm not disputing they can kill.
Okay.
You're not answering my question.
Yeah, you throw out these oblique questions that have no answer. Okay, that are, you know, because you're trying to defend the government there and defend their policies against women. But I don't think it's so much that you're defending the government as you're opposing America and Israel. Uh-huh.
Was a part of the CIA, data analyst at the CIA. In fact, his whole career was shaped on gathering data and studying information on Iran to prepare for the event of regime change. He was literally working toward and spent most of his career, and in fact still supports regime change in Iran. Do you know what the conclusion of his data that was? Which is also regularly used by the CIA, the NSA, MI6, Mossad even. Do you know what this guy concluded?
That everybody loved Ayatollah Khomeini, and they want to go back into the dark ages.
The street, overthrow him, send it out in the street. It will never fucking happen. The closest you ever got to that was when Saddam Hussein invaded Iran in the 80s, when there was, some amount of support from Kurdish militias that he funded, as well as some Ahwazi Arabs that he funded. And even then, the majority of those people turned against Saddam, rallied around their government, rallied for their country, and fought against him to throw him out. The idea that an American, or worse yet, a Jew in Tel Aviv is going to accomplish what Saddam Hussein couldn't, with less support, a more unified nation, is borderline suicidal and insane. Now, I don't know where you're from.
I don't agree with you, but I can see, because I don't think it's the same situation. And I don't think, and I mean, I agree with you that it has to be the Iranian people that rise up. I mean, it cannot be the America imposing on them democracy, Okay, but you know what? I think let's wait and see. I mean, this is just the people are first of all, they're being lied to, by their government. Yeah, they're being told that they had a great victory against the United States right now, and they had a great victory against Israel, and they're going to rebuild their nuclear bombs and stuff like that. Well, you know what? It's a little bit hard. It's a little bit hard. When you don't let people talk, it makes you look like when you don't let people talk. When you don't let people talk, it makes when you don't let people talk. When you don't let people talk, it makes it sound like when you don't let people talk, it looks like your position is weak. Okay. Yeah, you should let people talk. Okay. I know that you have a lot to say. I know you're very opinionated, which is fine. But when you don't shut up for a second, let me talk. It makes you look weak, man. It makes you look weak. Okay. If you don't let me talk, why don't you let me respond a little bit? Okay, but you don't say nothing either. You just sound like you know are very arrogant about your positions, and and it sounds to me like you're supporting your left wing position, which is fine, but you should at least let me give me a chance. And Nabil, a lot of them preferred to be controlled. They preferred to be under the boot of communism, like the people in Iran are under the boot of Shiite government right now. And so it takes a while sometimes for people to feel freedom, to be able. I mean, it's been 46 years of the Shiite. Uh-huh. Well, you are too. You are too, man. You are too. You are too, man. You are too, man. You're just adding a few, statistics from your favorite guys there, you know, uh, and yeah. Well, but the thing is those countries aren't the same. It's not the same situation. The Syria situation that you're talking about, there's a lot of strings being pulled in the Syria situation. It wasn't just some natural, Al Qaeda guy came and took over. There's a Russia string being put. There was a Russia string being played there. There was an Israel string being played there. Netanyahu was being played. Hezbollah just had their deeper situation. Hezbollah had their deeper situation. Hamas had their devastation. There was a lot of different factors. It's not just so simple like you make it. It wasn't just so simplistic like you're this typical CNN argument. That people hate America and they don't want America. They don't want America's help. Yeah. Well, you could just say that. You could just say that, man. Well, the thing is, that's what you said about Syria was a very simplistic explanation.
Should be nice.
Because he's probably one of the people that wants us to do one of the most suicidal wars that the U.S. should Congress.
You see, you're putting words in my mouth. You're putting words in my mouth. You're so arrogant. You're so brainwashed by the left. You're so brainwashed by the left that you think that you're putting words in my mouth. You're so brainwashed by the left. Your values are very leftist, very CNN. Like you probably watch Aaron Burnett. Uh-huh. And who wrote your history?
In the end, the thing about these people is they usually never stop. But that was Saddam. America really is a bully, and like their response was mediocre at best. So I think they're gonna sit down. I think
it's okay. So, Pearl, your lovely leader, Saddam Hussein, Allah yarhamu, had the fantastic idea. One second. No, we love Saddam here, but your lovely leader had the strategically smart idea of invading. He left. But your lovely leader had the strategically smart idea of invading Iran whilst it was in the midst of internal. People, wait. But here's the funny thing. I agree it was stupid. But he invaded an Iran that had just gone through revolution, was dealing with internal strife, having genuine infighting between the groups. He had Kurdish rebels that he paid that were pro-Iraq, Arab rebels that he paid that were pro-Iraq, and yet when the Iraqi army, Arab, exactly, yeah. But yet when the Iraqi army stormed in, did the Iranians all take to the streets saying, "Oh, Saddam, our savior, liberate us from the Khomeini," or did they turn and fight?
Okay. I want to say this here though.
That's kind of a.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying, Nabil. The internal conflict when Saddam Hussein invaded was much more than it is now. Yes.
slaughtering each other to invade Iran?
When Khomeini took power, the guy literally had to kill some estimate.
Why did you send me a text message saying we should support Israel?
I will say this: here's the issue with Saddam. Here's one thing though why I don't like Saddam or like that or anything. Why I don't like the Iraq-Iran war. It's because thousands of Assyrians were forced to fight for both sides and had to kill each other.
That's very true. There was compulsion in service, even though they talk about, oh, you're exempt from the army, Mabad of Shu. Anyway, so what was that message about?
Oh, no, that's nothing to do with Iran.
I know.
Can you explain now?
Yeah, why?
Way of you to explain.
By the way, why does Yasmin Fahravi have a French boyfriend? Isn't she married?
Well, I mean, dude, you know all these royals, they're like, feel if you're expecting, again, I'm not a fan of a nice government, but if you're expecting the Pahlavis to take power, then you're just living in a dreamland. Ironically, this bombing probably just guaranteed Khamenei or whatever mullah will go after him in their sphere of influence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's possible. It is possible, but it's also possible that there could be, I saw Pahlavi's what he said today, and you know what? I was pretty impressed with what he said. He said he okay. I'm not talking. I'm telling you what I thought. Okay. Can you? I know. I know. I don't live inside an Iranian's head. I'm married to an Iranian, so I know a little bit about it. Okay. Okay. And I thought, you know what? Because at first I saw that Pahlavi, or I may not be saying his name right. Okay. But I saw that he wasn't interested in going back. He didn't want to. But now people have talked to him, said, dude, this is the opportunity. This is maybe you could go back. And then I saw what he wrote today, and to be honest, I didn't. Let me see if I could find it. I may be able to find it because you know what? I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if it's going to sway anybody, but I was impressed by it. And I think that. I think there may be something to it. I don't think we've seen it yet, but I do think that there's a lot of hatred for the government because of the way they treat women. Let me see.
Like to guess what the opinions of both of these groups, as well as every other anti-government group, is of the Pahlavis.
To tell the truth, I'm sure,
Yeah, they hate the Pahlavis. They were actually part of the revolution that overthrew the Pahlavis. Most of the people that you know or heard about from Iranian us were not Pahlavi supporters because they already fled, because they knew they were in a minority and no one liked them. They were communists. Communists fighting Islamists, the two main factions of the revolution, both of whom agreed Pahlavi had to go, as well as his supporters. So, yeah, if Khamenei is overthrown tomorrow, which he won't be, you're not going to see a Reza Shah Pahlavi restoration. Why do I know this? Well, because my godmother is in exile from Iran. He was a communist, not a Pahlavi supporter.
Okay.
Just like most of the Iranian diaspora.
Well, You know, my
Yeah.
wife is Iranian, and she lived there during the Shah's reign.
She lived in Iran for 17 years.
Yeah. Well, my wife lived there. My wife lived there longer. My wife lived there longer, and she was there. She was there during the Shah's. Okay, so because she's a woman, her opinion doesn't count. Only your uncle's opinion counts. Okay, go ahead. Women's opinion don't matter. Okay, whatever. We're just here to listen to you, man. So okay. So being married to an Iranian doesn't give me my opinion any weight. Yeah. Well, you're very much. I can see you'd fit perfect with you fit perfect with what's good.
Like, I'm asking if you want to know why that's the case. Okay, because the two people that form the Iranian diaspora, supermajority, are the largest group,
left
communists. Okay, communists, as you know, because they're gay, have a policy of atheism. So the moment they left Islamic Iran, they said, well, actually, why the hell do we even need this? Take, for instance, Iranian communists tried to force your people to go out chanting in the street that Muhammad is a prophet. The Assyrian church refused because that's heresy.
Disgusting.
Yes, exactly. The communists shot.
Communists.
Yes, the communists shot the priest for doing that. Now, why would the communists shoot priests for not saying Muhammad is a prophet? Well, because communists don't care about religion in general. So they'll appeal to the religion of the masses if it benefits them. Now, the second smaller group that forms the Iranian diaspora are the Shah supporters. These people are completely irreligious and borderline degenerate. In fact, outright degenerate.
Degenerate. I know a lot of great Shah supporters.
Yeah, and they're very religious, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, some of them are actually even Catholic.
Okay, well, I mean, yeah, you know why? Actually, because you know one ethnic group of Iranians that was actually pretty pro-Shah?
What?
Yours.
I know, because we lived great under the Shah.
True, but everyone else basically hated them. Now,
The Kurds, a lot of Persians loved them. The only ones who didn't like him were Kurds and the Arabs of Iran and other.
Most Persians hated the Shah. Most Azeris hated the Shah. Most Armenians, most. Okay, perfect. I don't care about what Azeris say either, except they form 15% of Iran. Persians form 60% of Iran. Both of these groups overwhelmingly hated the Shah.
So many Persians free Iran because of what happened.
Okay, and the majority did not. Points. Diaspora.
But they struggled to leave.
No, because they didn't need to go. You understand? If you forgot what I said.
An authoritarian regime.
Well, where it's an authoritarian regime, but you forgot what the bulk of the Iranian diaspora is not even Shah supporters. It's communists, who again also hated the Shah.
Then how come I've never met a single communist Iranian supporter? You're talking about the diaspora specifically. I'm not only talking about the diaspora. I'm talking about people who were living in Iran and still live there. Like, I was on Omegle a while ago, funny enough, and I was talking to some Iranians around my age. Like, they're completely anti-IRGC and completely, they weren't communist.
Yes, because
and they were in Iran.
Because the Communist Party were the ones most hardest cracked out on. Khamenei is not terrified of a Pahlavi restoration. He is terrified of the resurrection of groups like the Tudeh Party and its related offshoots, MEK and PJK, which of course are all, Iranian communist groups.
Well, President Trump was not in support of regime change, and
he was smart.
Even though even though I think he would like to see it, he was saying today that he's not. He just wanted to destroy the nuclear capabilities of Iran. And so it'll be interesting to see where things go from here. But let me go ahead and read what Pahlavi said. He said, "The military is fractured. The people are united. The foundation of this 46-year tyranny are shaking. This is our Berlin Wall moment. But like all moments of great change, it comes with great danger. He said. Then he said to Khamenei, he said, "Step down, and if you do, you will receive a fair trial and due process of law." So these are some of the things that he said today, which, you know what, I thought it's not nothing, and I kind of think, there might be some movement in Iran that maybe could get a hold of this.
Refuse, and the swiftest and most fierce judgment of God will come upon you and all the corrupt masters who surround yourself in your belly. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Hey. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit here, okay? Yeah, but don't do that though.
No, it doesn't. Say whatever he wants. Until there is evidence on the ground to show that the people want not only to revolt against the government, everything he says is and will always be meaningless.
Well, you know what? You got to at least.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think what is the majority. Substantial amount, yes.
Well, that's a good place to start,
It is a majority. Was a majority not brave enough to do anything about it. It was only when I read this guy, Patrick Martin. Again, I cite him because this is a guy who wants racial change in Iran.
Authority, though.
No, I agree. It's an appeal to authority. But what I'm saying is because he studied this extensively, okay, with far more access to information than we have. If someone like him concluded that it's a suicide mission, that's not going to happen. I see the evidence on the ground to support that. Yes, it's a suicide mission. That's not going to happen.
Are you in Iran?
Okay. We have access to news.
You have access, okay, but you're not in Iran because you're saying we see on the ground. I was wondering if you are on the ground.
I'm sure. Yeah, this is why I asked you about stuff. Okay. So when I see 1,000+ Iranians getting dumped down in the street or getting killed or gassed to death, then I'll seriously believe that there's a rebel. But there isn't any evidence of that.
Well, things are early. Things could change, So I hope they do, I'd love to go there. I'd love to go to Iran. My name is Hussein, which would be very popular over there. So anyway, you guys, I need to go. I just started this room for fun. I was actually wanting to talk about Mamdani and the guy who's running for mayor. We may have another Iran in New York City now, but we didn't really get to that topic because we got sidetracked on Iran, which is very relevant right now. So appreciate you guys coming on. Appreciate your passion for your positions. And I'll try to be better equipped for next time. So have a great day, you guys. Okay, so I kind of feel like I don't know that much. I don't know enough. My only claim to expertise is being married to an Iranian. So but yeah. Hey Tiger, God bless you. So anyway, I think I may have lost that error, but you know what? I don't think I did. Like Tiger saying, literally, an elephant is eaten one bite at a time. It really is. We've been surprised by other things, that have happened. that we didn't expect would happen. And so after communism fell in Eastern Europe, I mean, a lot of the people were so used to communism and being controlled. So people were so used to the tight control of communism, they didn't know how to handle freedom, you know, and make their own decisions. And, you know, it was difficult at first, you know, but and so I kind of feel like this is, you know, after being 4 or 6 years under Khamenei and all that, maybe, you know, it's just going to take a little while, you know, to see this change. But I hope there will be a change. So for that, you know, because what I've heard is that Iran really was a really great country before, and but that it, you know, kind of went back into the Stone Ages, you know, and except for the nuclear program. So anyway, all right, you guys, thank you for hanging out. God bless you, and please be with us tonight if you can. God bless you. Thanks.